Welcome to another episode of Women Investing in Women. Robin and I are truly energized and excited as we feature amazing women from different walks of life, from different parts of the world. And today, we are excited to bring you somebody you're going to absolutely love. When we think of women investing in women, we want to make sure we're investing in women's holistic well-being. It's not financial. It is not one thing or the other. It is holistically women give and give and give. How do we fill our cup? Where do we turn for sisterhood to make sure that we feel nurtured and we feel cared for? And how do we truly lift each other up in a meaningful way so that we are building a support system that helps us stay well mentally, physically, spiritually, and everything we do feels supported and deeply, deeply impactful. Robin, go ahead and introduce our wonderful guest for the day.
Wonderful. I am so thrilled to present Agnes Loughlin, who I met at a training up in Canada. And actually in the summer of 2018, we were together for 2 weeks. And Agnes is a delight. She is joyful. She really focuses on our total well-being, emotional, psychological, spiritual, etc. And in fact, in her signature on her emails, it says joy facilitator and happiness coach. I love it. And that is totally describes Agnes. So Agnes, tell us a little bit about some of the workshops that you run and some of the things that you're engaged in helping women and their well-being.
Well, thank you, Robin. It's, it's been a long journey for me. It didn't happen overnight. Actually, I wrote a chapter in a book a couple years ago about my journey. But anyhow, today I've sort of retired from my background in healthcare, but I continue that healthcare knowledge and passion to just inspire women as well as, everyone to just create a life of joy and happiness. I call it, ageless energy, because we're all worthy of that. And I love doing retreats. I help inspire people to create more health, because health is, if you don't have health, you don't have wealth, you don't have anything. And so our health is, foundational in a spiritual and other way. Our whole lives are interconnected. So, I see clients privately. I'm working on, coaching and, doing those retreats to just inspire people. I'm a Theta Healer and a higher brain living facilitator, all of that. So it's about how we create our lives and to create them with passion and joy and all of that.
I'm absolutely loving what I'm hearing, Agnes. Ultimately, we are each a spiritual being full of energy, having a human experience. Most of the time, we don't keep perspective of that. We think we're human who happens to have energy inside of us, right? But it's truly the other way around. How do you help ladies and individuals come to terms with the fact that your energy is what's driving everything? And how do you tap into that energy, which truly gives you the happiness and joy and peace? Because those are inside jobs. You don't find it outside.
Right, exactly. We do create it on the inside. And I think it all starts with an awareness, because, I say my life used to be on autopilot, meaning that we constantly do things and repeat patterns. I'm not the only one that said this. One of my favorite teachers, Joe Dispenza, said this also. But our life is a repetition of patterns, and a lot of times we don't have awareness of how we're probably repeating patterns on autopilot. My life was like that for quite a lot of years, and women especially are always busy, now careers, childcare, partners in relationships, all of that. It's such a busy time in our lives, especially when we're younger, and we're not aware. Most people aren't aware of how we're so programmed to, and it's not necessarily bad, but we're programmed to repeat things, and we're not aware of how ourselves as creators. And being the creator is the most powerful awareness that we can have. And how we do that is, I could go on, but it's not being the victim in your life. And, when I was in my 40s, I said to myself one day, I don't have any friends and I don't understand, what's going on in my life. And that is really the opposite of being the creator. And I came to realize that more gradually, but it's not, it's not something that most people think about. And having that awareness allows us to be more powerful and more creative with our life.
I'm really loving what you're saying. And I know that you, in your previous in your life, you had been a nurse and nurse practitioner for like 20 years. That really informs what you do. But what helped you move from this like not awake state to becoming a person who is now doing retreats and workshops and just living a very full life well into what people would call your later years? I mean, you're an inspiration for everyone. So kind of what helped make the turning point to become this new person?
Well, I think that there's always turning points. And, for me, even as a child, I was curious. And, I was lonely as a child. I lived in an orphanage for 4.5 years and then in a foster home for 2 years. But I found solace in that loneliness, not with other children, but in a library of books. When I was 8 years old, fairy tales caught my attention. And so I've been a lifelong learner, lifelong reader. I love to learn and understand. I'm just, passionately curious, if you would say. And, going through, learning, first my sources of information were like maybe the newspaper or whatever. I wasn't reading, books on health or anything. But when I think it was my 58th birthday, I was invited by a group of nurses to join Nikken, a Japanese wellness company. And, at that time of my life, I said, why not focus on wellness? Because there's plenty of focus on sickness, and wellness is what I wanted for myself. And so that really inspired me, not selling the products, but just having the awareness that we create wellness, and wellness isn't something the doctor creates for you because they don't study wellness and health. I think, I've studied things gradually because you attract into your life what you're curious and all of that. My significant moment in my life, I talk about it, is that I was 64 years old and in some emotional turmoil and all of that. And I asked a friend, or I didn't really know him that well. I just called him because I say, I know this person who's, got these issues, and she does muscle testing, and I think she's got some aspect of higher consciousness and all this stuff. And so this person recommended a book. It's called Power versus Force by David R. Hawkins. That book absolutely changed my life, because what he was talking about, I wanted for myself, and I was determined that nothing was going to stop me.
I am smiling here as you're talking, and you're so right. Doctors and the medical profession focuses on sickness. There is no wellness, right, in our system. And wellness is what creates a vibrant life. And it's preventative, it's healing. As we talk about wellness, and this is the mental health month, what advice do you have for women who are constantly, continuously busy from task to task, role to role, with very little time to invest in themselves, and feel guilty of investing in themselves and doing self-care because it feels selfish? Selfish is somehow thought about as bad. And as women, we have to be selfless. So we give and give and give. Where do women find that balance? And how do they help each other stay in that place of balance?
Well, thank you for bringing that up, because, there's, if we don't take time for our own wellness, then we'll completely collapse in one form or another. And it's, I think taking care of yourself empowers you to just be more vibrant, and to, it's different for everyone. I don't think there's one specific formula, but I would say to really engage in what sets you alive, makes you come alive. There's a famous quote. I think Robin's heard of it from, I think, Thurman. He was the teacher, well, maybe she didn't, teacher of Martin Luther King Jr. It says, don't ask what the world needs. Ask what makes you come alive, and go do that, because what the world needs is people who have come alive. So we all have special talents and passions. And if you devote time to this, I mean, it doesn't have to be, every waking minute, you need to have time to eat well, to, exercise, all of that. It's all a matter of, balancing it out. And there's no special formula, but I think that connecting to, what gives you joy and happiness, because when we're happy, when we're joyful, there's, we can do anything, I think. And health is, people who are happy live longer. They're just, a delight to be around. So,
well, you certainly exemplify that. I'm curious, can you tell us a little bit more about some of the retreats that you do, and some of the I don't know if we're calling processes or not, but just like what are some of the group events that you do?
Well, I'm doing one. I'm doing a talk in a week. If anyone's interested, it's at a holistic health summit. I think I've listed it on LinkedIn, but it's just about loneliness and the connection to happiness, because happiness and loneliness may be part of the same coin in a sense, because they're, maybe opposites, but unless you're aware of how you set your thermostat in your life. It's not wrong to be alone or lonely. It's just having the awareness that we need connection and how to create that. So that's what my talk is about. At my retreats, I love just inspiring women to create in all 4 areas of your life. So this is my higher brain living training. It's based on the work of an American philosopher, Ken Wilber, of how we create in 4 areas of our life: the mind, which is our thoughts and emotions; the body is our health; the 3rd area is relationships, so the people; and the 4th area is our creative endeavors, our passions, our divine talents, and all of that. So I inspire people or women mostly in those areas. So like health, I wrote a health meditation. It takes me 2 minutes. I say it every single day, every morning and evening, about how I'm creating my health, because if anyone like a free copy, I'm not opposed to sharing it, because every day I'm creating my health by what I'm telling my body. We tell your body. I mean, I'm not the only one that's done this, but I've written my own little meditation. So, in terms of, creating, it's up to everyone. I like to inspire them. I encourage exercise and yoga and the nitric oxide dump. Of course, one of my favorite mentors was Mercola, Joe Mercola. So he's awesome, and he's inspired me, and not the only one, but yes. I hope I've answered a little bit, but, without boring anyone. Thank you.
As I'm listening to you, Agnes, it's reminding me of why it's important to live an ageless life, right? There's the chronological age, and then there is your emotional, psychological, spiritual state that is truly ageless. It comes from your soul. So you're talking about how do you nurture your body at the same time, feed your soul, and keep it alive.
Yes.
As people take that journey for themselves in a way that is meaningful for themselves, are there any specific milestones or guardrails or points of reference they should keep in mind so that they know what to do more of and what to do less of? Is there any guidance or tips you can provide?
Well, I think the body always gives you guide points, and that's your feelings, how you're feeling, and to pay attention to your feelings. And if they're not what you want, then reach out and create a new feeling. It's, I'm sort of, like telling you that it's, an awareness, really, that if you want to feel happier or healthier, to pay attention to what's going on. And, we live in an age of so much information. It's there, and we don't have to search hard anymore, even. I mean, like a number of years ago, I had a female health issue. It's called prolapse. And I would go to the internet and I found a woman who has a website. It's called wholewoman.com. And she was a nurse, Christine Kent. She's still out there promoting health and wellness, but it's amazing what you can find if you just use the resources we have today, because there are so many holistic and alternative modalities out there. They're all there. There's more than enough to help us be ageless energy.
I love that. I love that phrase, ageless energy. One question that I like to ask our guests is talking about their challenges and what have been some of the either internal or external challenges that you have faced in this journey of creating this, this life of wellness and being able to share it through retreats and books and lectures. What are some of the challenges that you faced in creating this journey?
Well, I certainly have my share, and we all do. We never know what people are dealing with on the inside. And, since it's National Suicide Prevention Month, that people are dealing on the inside with a lot of things. And I personally, my husband was an alcoholic for many years. He did quit, but that was, in a sense, call from the universe for me to, figure out, and it wasn't my job necessarily, but in a sense, it strengthened me because I had, probably more responsibility. I've had physical challenges like arthritis in my knee. I'm keeping my knee till I'm 110 at least, and then I'll evaluate. But there's natural ways to stay out of joint replacements, things like that. So I'm telling people not to give up, to keep searching, to keep being inspired, because like I said, there's so much available and we're so lucky to live in such an amazing era.
You are so right, Agnes. We are living in an amazing era, especially for women. While it feels like our rights are being eroded, we also have access to so much. And we are in a place where we can come together and make our voices and our message heard. So that is absolutely spot on. As we bring this to a close, we really want our audience to be able to reach you, communicate with you, connect with you, maybe even attend your retreats. How can they connect with you and get in touch with you?
Well, sure. I have a website, miraclesinwellness.com, and I have 2 free gifts there. So if you put miraclesinwellness.com/free gift, I have a couple free gifts. And it's, I'm listed on LinkedIn with my phone number, all of that. So I'm not hiding. And I just love to inspire people because, it's important to be inspired, and I've been inspired by awesome people as well. So thank you both for sharing your gifts and offering more inspiration to the world.
Great. As we bring this to a close, it seems like our podcasts are 25 minutes and they always just zoom by. But are there any, like a golden nugget or two in closing that you'd like to share with our audience? Any golden nuggets?
I think I've shared quite a few. I just say that to be curious. And one of my favorite quotes that I'll share, I have quite a few, but one of my favorite quotes for this time and day is from Albert Einstein. He says, blind obedience to authority is the greatest enemy of truth. So you're your own power, your own authority. Don't give it away.
That is a fantastic note and a guiding point as we bring this to a close. Thank you so much, Agnes. It has been our pleasure and our joy to have your voice and your message amplified through Women Investing in Women. And for all the women out there and the men who support the women out there, remember, as we seek ageless beauty physically, take a moment to seek and invest in the ageless beauty of your soul, your inner being, because the ageless approach to your own joy and happiness is truly the wellspring of your well-being. And as you seek that and as you work on it, you are going to find that your life is going to continue to be more and more meaningful.